Way too hot. All right, see if anybody jumps on here. Got about 10 minutes here. I probably can answer about one question, 2 questions maybe. It is early in the morning. I just got back from the gym. Very, very sore. Today was leg day. Tiffany, what's up, Tiffany? Hope you're doing awesome. Kirsten Corbet, what is up? Good to see you. Welcome, welcome. Radovan, hope you're doing awesome. Hey guys, I got about 10 minutes. If you guys want to ask me any questions about healing from trauma, anxiety, panic, depersonalization, realization, any of that stuff, I'd be happy to answer a few questions. I've only got about 10 minutes this morning. I got to go get my kiddos ready for school. How does one shake the trauma out of their body, Caleb? That is a great question. If you go to YouTube and you type in Tray for All, TRE for all, so 3 separate words, there's a set of exercises that were created by a guy named Dr. David Briselli, and they're designed to activate the tremor response in the body, which shakes out energy that's stored in your body, particularly your psoas muscles. So yeah, that's the best way to do it. The trauma releasing exercises. Go to YouTube, type in Tray, TRE, second word for, last word all. And there's also a few different people that teach them. The Tray for All video isn't amazing, but it'll at least show you. You basically fatigue your calf and thigh muscles, and then you lie on the floor afterwards, and you kind of put your feet together, and your legs will start to shake and tremor. No problem. PV Lace says, just want to say I'm grateful for this channel. Back in 2009, it helped me so much. For 3 years now, I never experienced anything anymore. Awesome. What symptoms were you dealing with? Kirsten Corbet, says, so I've been using your S5 method and acceptance, and I had my longest break to date. I assume from DPDR for 10 days. Congratulations. And now it's back. Is this a normal sign of recovery? Yes. Yes, that is everybody. The symptoms don't typically just shut off and never come back. Sometimes they do shut off and just never come back, but it's very rare. Most people, it's going to be very up and down. You're doing things that are conveying safety to the nervous system, which is the S5 method, and your brain through neuroplasticity is going to start to reprogram and desensitize the sensory triggers around you. And what that will translate into is, as you start to desensitize these sensory triggers, you'll start to be able to come back into what's called your social engagement system, which is the calm part of your nervous system. And that's whenever you'll start to feel breaks from fight, flight, freeze symptoms. And 10 days is a huge break. That's awesome. But yeah, so you're thinking, oh, well, you probably thought 10 days, it's over. Everything's done. I'm finally over it. And then the symptoms come back, and it's so just demoralizing and crushing. But that's normal. That's what everybody goes through. Okay, Lottie B, thank you for sending that. You said, I'm completely dissociated. I feel like I'm living in a fake life. At this point, I don't even recognize myself. What do I do? Well, if you go to dprecovery.com, watch the video. It kind of tells my story and also kind of what my method is. At the end of the video, there'll be a little button that pops up that says purchase course now. You can begin the S5 method. Thousands of people have taken it, and it has caused so many people to become symptom free. Now you got to apply it, right? But anyway, you can take the S5 method. It's basically the 5 things that I've learned really rewire the nervous system. Zaria says, does trauma make you forget everything, like which day is today, what date? Absolutely, yeah. So make sure to go see a doctor. Very important. But whenever you enter a traumatized state, your brain starts to register, well, your memory starts to register as implicit procedural memory instead of explicit narrative-based memory. And so with explicit narrative-based memory, you've got a narrative. So like, let's say that you and I were to hang out together, we go out to the movies and then we go bowling and then we go out to eat. Well, if your memory is working normally and you look back on that event, you'll be able to remember, yeah, first we went bowling, then we went to the movies, and then we went out to eat. But whenever you enter a trauma state, you can think of your memory as like a plate that shatters into thousands of pieces, and you don't have this cohesive narrative anymore, right? And so, yeah, it's very normal to have memory issues whenever you enter into a trauma state. Zaria. Slime Traveler, there you are. You've been traveling around the globe, sliming everybody. Did you guys used to watch Nickelodeon? They used to have slime. You slime people. Okay. Let's see here. Lottie B says, hey, Jordan, how you doing? I'm doing very well, thank you. Just got back from the gym and feeling pretty good this morning. Let's see here. Okay, yeah, Slime Traveler says, I've been through your method. It seems to be working, but now that I feel normal, I feel so weird. I don't trust normal. The brain has a very nuanced sense of safety. And our brain assumes that what's familiar is safe, even if what's familiar is stress. This is part of how a trauma bond happens. You ever seen somebody that's being abused, but they just keep going back to the relationship over and over and over again? Everybody around them is like, what are you doing? Like, they're abusing you mentally, physically, emotionally, whatever, verbally. It's all abuse. But for that person, that's familiar for them. And their brain is going to drive them towards what's familiar, even if what's familiar is not good. And so whenever somebody's been walking around in fight, flight, freeze response for many years, whenever they start to do things that convey safety to the nervous system, and then their nervous system starts to downregulate and they get into what's called their social engagement system, the calm part of their nervous system, it's going to feel weird. Even though they're calm, and that's a good thing, it's still unfamiliar to them. I call this state transition anxiety. Whenever I work with somebody in my coaching program, once they start to get breaks from symptoms and feel calm, it can be kind of stressful because their brain's like, whoa, what's going on here? Like, whenever you're walking around in fight, flight, freeze response, your brain thinks that those symptoms are saving your life. You have to see everything from your brain's perspective. Your brain thinks that by keeping you in fight, flight, freeze response, it is saving you from the lion. But there is no lion present. And for most people, there is no physical danger. Some people, there is physical danger because they're in an abusive situation. But 98% of people, there is no danger, right? So you're in a threat response where there is no threat, but your brain still has been conditioned to believe that being in fight, flight, freeze response is safe. It's keeping you alive. So whenever you start to get out of these autonomic defense mechanisms, you're getting out of fight, flight, freeze response, and you're starting to feel safe in your body and you're starting to be symptom free, from your brain's perspective, your brain is going to be like, what the heck? What are you doing, dude? You're going to get eaten by the lion. You better get stressed out again. You better get back into fight, flight, freeze response. And I call this state transition anxiety. But if you continue to do things that convey safety to the nervous system over and over and over again, eventually you're going to be walking around in your social engagement system, and that's going to become the new normal. That's going to become familiar because you're constantly symptom-free. You're constantly feeling safe in your body, safe in your environment. So, okay, Slime Traveler, good question. You said, you talk about the brain collapsing entire categories like relationships. Um, uh, you said, and for you, dating was a big trigger for you. And you said if you're out of it, will it restore it? Will it restore the category? Absolutely. So the way that you restore a categorical association. So like let's say you've had a bunch of painful experiences in relationships and your brain has collapsed the whole category of relationships. This is part of complex trauma. And your brain has said, you know what, all relationships are dangerous. So I help a lot of people heal from narcissistic abuse. This is something that I went through multiple times with multiple people in my life. And I'm going to start talking about that on my YouTube channel this year, actually, because I'm really passionate to help people with that. I've been talking about narcissistic abuse and healing from the trauma of that on my TikTok for over a year now. And a lot of people have been helped by it. But anyway, especially with narcissistic abuse, a lot of the people that I help, they'll be like, I'll never trust again. Like, I'll never trust people. I'll never trust a relationship. And that's a defense mechanism. You know, what I tell people is if you have a bad allergic reaction to a flower, your brain is going to say bad flower. If you have multiple allergic reactions to a flower over and over and over again, eventually your brain will collapse the whole category and say bad flowers, plural. All flowers are bad. And so most of the people that I work with are experiencing what's called complex trauma. And so it's not just one big bad event, which would be single event trauma. It's repeated stress and adversity over a period of time, sometimes a long period of time, sometimes going back to their childhood. Not always, but sometimes. Sometimes people have perfectly good childhoods and they still experience complex trauma. But anyway, and so when you just have repeated stress over and over and over and over again, one thing that can happen is your brain collapses an entire category. Basically, anything that's even similar to this thing is a threat. And so how do you restore that? Well, you have to do exposure plus relaxation to that category. And with people, what that looks like is you have to have safe experiences with people again. So let's say you mentioned dating. Dating is a threat to you. Well, number one, just be very careful with who you date. And don't have such a high standard that it's impossible and you'll never find anybody because you have an impossible standard. Everybody's human. But be particular. And also get yourself where you need to be before you get into a relationship. Be healthy and happy by yourself. But then once you determine that this person is safe, be vulnerable with them. And if you're vulnerable with the right people, you share your weaknesses, you share your strengths, and they cherish that, and they don't turn it against you, they don't weaponize it against you, and you feel safe being yourself, and you have a great relationship, your brain through neuroplasticity is going to start to reprogram. And is going to start to change the categorical association. You know what? Maybe relationships are safe. Maybe people are safe. Okay, guys, you're amazing. I do have to go, though. Zara, you said some relaxation techniques to get out of trauma. I have a free masterclass where I go over some of those techniques, as well as the 5 shifts that you need to make to heal from trauma, NDPDR, anxiety, panic, all that stuff. In the links of any of my videos, you can watch that masterclass. Okay, guys, I do have to go. Again, you're amazing. I appreciate you. Thank you for being subscribers. I did get a little behind on my YouTube videos. I'm trying to do every single week, but I'll do some more videos soon for you. Okay? You guys are amazing. Hope you have a wonderful day. Take care, guys.